Ooh. I was like, yeah, click go live. And I had my thing still down. Whoops. That was a bit dumb. Anyway, hello. Um, yeah, what did I write for the description of this live stream? I don't even remember. How do you make a face like that? Because it's like a sideways. That's me trying to make that face. Yeah, hello. So, news of the week. I don't even know. Bit out of it, tired. Not particularly enthusiastic today, and I think like I don't know if I want to keep doing live streams like in the short term. I'm just yeah, it feels a bit like a chore at the moment. And no, I'm trying to get my life a little bit sorted. And so, like, I haven't even been watching much YouTube. I changed my shortcut so that it just shows my subscriptions. So, like, the things that I'm really following. And not much stuff gets posted there. So that stopped me from watching fucking Sky News. Hey, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a bit. Yeah, anyway, so less YouTube. And then I stopped watching YouTube and I end up just mindlessly scrolling Facebook. So I don't know, I probably need to put some limits on my Facebook use as well. I've had a few days where I didn't really log in for a while, and I think I was just watching TV. I've had a few nights where I went to bed way too late and didn't sleep well. And a couple nights ago, Mikey woke up at like 4 a.m. I mean, I didn't know it was him at first. I heard this sort of distant squeaking, whimpering kind of noise, and I thought, oh no, Hope's stuck somewhere. And I go out to I turned on my light first, and Hope's actually on his little pillows. I'm like, okay, so it's not him. So I go out into the hallway, and it's actually coming from Mikey's room. Like I thought maybe Marley was having a bad dream. No, it was coming from Mikey's room. And yeah, long time no see. I open the door and Mikey's just standing at his computer, and he just hands me a Mr. Potato Head, and I'm like, okay then. And I couldn't work out. I thought maybe like he'd been twisting the Mr. Potato Head and like squeaking it somehow, but I tried in the morning to make it squeak, and it doesn't squeak. It's just really smooth with the way you put the ears on and all that. So I like maybe he was like scraping it across the table, but I couldn't replicate that sound either. I don't know how he managed to make that funny noise, but I just like 4 a.m. And he hands me a Mr. Potato Head, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing, Mike? So, I had to turn off his computer and convince him to go back to bed. And when I like shake out the blanket, he's like, oh boy, I'm going to get tucked in. So then I tucked him in, like, he ran for the bed. I tucked him in, and then he wouldn't give me the little pillow that he puts his tablet on, this little Samsung thing. And no, he gave me the pillow. Sorry, my brain really. He gave me the pillow and I put it away, and then he wouldn't give me his treasure bag, which like it's a bag that has pictures of buses and trains all laminated, and he just carries it everywhere. He wouldn't give me that, so I'm like, fine, you can just go to bed with that. It's only a few more hours before he's going to wake up anyway. And then he did that thing where he just pulls the blanket up and is like, you can't see me. And I'm like, I got your feet. He's giggling. I ended up just turning off the light and going back to bed. But yeah, no. So I've had a few too many late nights and interrupted sleep. And yeah, no, I want to try and get back, like get my life together. And I thought daylight saving would be ending would be a great chance because I get to sleep in, but I've already blown it by staying up too late. Yeah. I also like writing stuff that I need to remember for later. That took me a while one night. But no, trying to I did some exercise yesterday. Exercise is weird. I guess if you go to a gym, it kind of makes some kind of, oh my God, did someone dig up my bed? I think one of the dogs dug up my bed a little because the part you can see looks fine, but there's this nest that's been dug, and I'm just noticing that now. Anyway, there's no dog sleeping there right now. When did that happened? How did I not notice that? Anyway, I did some exercise. Yeah, no, I guess if you go to the gym, like a gym is a place where you exercise, so it's normal for people to be running in on the spot and I don't know, doing strange things. I was just out in the other room, just sort of like jumping around and we've got a new exercise bike, which is another one that we just grabbed from family members who didn't want theirs anymore. So we've got two freebie exercise bikes now. The one they took upstairs is the one that doesn't need batteries to show you the thing. Like you just start pedaling and you can see the screen. The one that's down here, for some reason, like you're pedaling. Surely you could have some kind of a generator, but no, you have to plug that one in if you want to see anything. So I just rode it without turning on the screens. I have no idea how long I did stuff for. I just was like pedal, pedal, pedal until my heart rate goes up and then stop. And then pedal, 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 which is what I was told to do that one time I did have a gym membership. And when you start, they give you a personal trainer. And I was like, I want to get fit, but without losing weight. And they showed me that. And it's like, it's an annoying way to exercise because you can't just like mindlessly go. You can't just turn on the TV and go. You've got to keep like, you know, it's an annoying way to exercise. So I was doing that and then just some stretches that don't usually make it into my night routine. Yeah, I need to get fitter. Like I do a sort of stretch routine and sit-ups every night. But I think the more cardio stuff I need to work on and then strength stuff. And also my shoulder has still been painful, especially when I'm trying to do work at the computer. So I guess that's another reason for avoiding the computer. Dave thinks I've pinched something. And so he's like giving me exercises. Like I can lift it higher than I think he was expecting me to. It depends a bit how painful it is, but there's also like the rotating one and then another thing. Hey, like, I mean, what do you... Okay, yeah, sure, but you know, I keep trying. Isn't that the... And I think I'm a little less crazy than I used to be, right? Right? I mean, if you've been watching me that long, I'm pretty sure I'm like at least a little bit more stable at whatever level of crazy I'm at now. Because yeah, I remember being a lot more of a basket case. But no, I want like I don't know how long it'll last, but oh, so attacked. But you know, yeah, I want to try and get a little bit fitter, especially because like I'm not studying anymore, so I'm not going to a uni campus anywhere, and so I'm not getting that more incidental exercise. Most of the time, I only really leave the house to do my bonsai work or like to take Hope out, and then the occasional extra thing. Talking about a project. Oh. My life is like a project that's never going to be finished, is it? Oh, I don't need this piece of paper anymore. All right, good. I write things that I need to remember on pieces of paper, and I remembered it all, and it's all done, so I can throw it out now. Yeah, no. I guess I feel like I just haven't been that creative in the last while. And so I want to try and get onto a bit of that. Maybe I feel like I just keep losing a lot of time to, I don't know, probably internet hypnosis. And yeah, so I just need to sort of get away a bit. And then with the live streams, like I've sort of fit them into my life in a way that works. But yeah, last few, maybe I've sort of been a bit, oh shit, I've got to schedule one of those, don't I? And then do I really want to do it? Today, not so much. I think a few days back, I don't even remember. I need to look at Facebook to remember anything about what I've been thinking. But a few days back, I was feeling pretty down. I don't even remember what I was feeling down about. God damn it. Why is my brain like this? But I think I've still got some of that left over. And maybe it is to do with just like, what am I doing with my life? And yeah, I don't feel like I've been very productive. Oh, this fucking shoulder. If this shoulder doesn't get better in a while, I might have to see a physio. I don't know. Which would be annoying, but What was I just talking about? Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting old. I'm feeling it, especially with the shoulder doing its thing, you know. Um, yeah, no, what? What was I talking? Oh, being creative. Yeah, because like I haven't really done anything for a while. Um, like, I haven't really done any music. I mean, I've tried to find bands, but um, getting my life together since 2008. Well, I did slap the melon, so that's one thing I can tick off my list. Um, and also, like, I've got punk rave box box of stuff. I was actually going to post a picture in the community tab, but I forgot. And I posted on Patreon and I posted on Facebook, but I forgot about the community tab. I don't know. I can share. It's just a box, uh, the box of punk rave, and then the little satchel. Um, so I've got videos to make, and I guess instead of live streaming, I could be editing that maybe next week if I get to film it. Yeah, and then also I kind of feel like I just need to relax more. Like I put myself under so much pressure to always be productive, and I think my brain has just been like, yeah, no, this is too much. We're just going to like zone out on Facebook or, you know, whatever YouTube wanted to show me. Although I've stopped that now. YouTube, YouTube trying to lead me astray. Um, yeah, I don't know. But like the thing is, even when I was letting myself watch YouTube, um, the thing is really bad at telling me like what stuff to watch. And so I spend so much time scrolling through the recommendations and just not finding anything I want to watch. And then like, yeah, you watch one Sky News video and then all it shows you is Sky News. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, YouTube. The algorithm's such a nutcase. Yeah, but oh, I got distracted again. God damn it, stupid brain. Um, yeah, no, I completely lost my train of thought. See, this is another thing. I like getting old. I can't even remember what I was thinking about 5 seconds ago. Oh dear. Uh, no, I put myself under pressure to be productive. Yeah, and then so I don't really end up watching just TV or watching videos, not videos. Like YouTube videos, they're short and they're very low commitment, but they're also like at least the stuff that I watch, there's not really anything to get lost in. Like it's mostly like real world stuff, and then either I'm just like that was an interesting science fact that I will never use in my life, or that was a depressing like socio-political video, and now I'm just going to think about how everything sucks. So I don't think I'm getting value out of that at the moment. And yeah, I have just sat down to watch some TV and some movies, and I'm sort of like, yeah, maybe this is what I need. Maybe I just need to chill out, relax a bit more, let myself be a bit lazy. E-scooter and cruise around my neighborhood. Oh, hello, Hopi. You hopping up? Yeah, and then he's gonna hop up into that nest, probably. No, he's just gonna sit there. Okay. Sorry, there's a bit of noise out there. No, my neighborhood isn't interesting enough to cruise around in, to be honest. That's probably one reason I don't go anywhere, because like anything that's good tends to be quite far away. And then I don't even know what's good anymore because, yeah, COVID came along. Also, I haven't really known what to do with myself probably since that last depression. So maybe 5 or 6 years. Because yeah, like well, once I stopped going to gigs, it just fell out of the loop. Like once Rainbow Death Ray went on hiatus, yeah, completely fell out of the loop. Didn't go to many gigs, and then just as I was starting to go out again, yeah, no gigs, and now I'm just like I don't even know what bands I want to see. I don't even know if Sydney even has what I'm looking for right now. Like there are some bands I recognize, but it's just not. I'm not in the mood for that particular kind of metal at the moment. But I don't even know how I would describe what I am looking for. And yeah, I don't think it's in Sydney. But I think I'm also kind of dead inside. Like, And I know that's one of Rainbow Death Ray's songs. Um, but no, I listen to music, especially new music that I'm not familiar with, and I'm just sort of like, I don't know. Um, Music I am familiar with is a little bit easier because I can sing along to it, and yeah, singing along to stuff has been good. And that's one of the weird things about my life right now is the main time I get to just sit around and sing is when I'm doing my finance job. Um, so that's a weird kind of thing. I think that's probably how I coped with like school. I didn't have much music then, because it was so hard to find music I was into, especially growing up in a sort of more conservative culture. Um, but I found Evanescence at some point, and Linkin Park, and so I would have probably sung along to some of that, and doing a lot of math stuff because I was good at maths in school. I got someone replied to a comment I left on a video like 2 years ago, being like, it's weird that you were good at maths but didn't like it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have my theories, but I can't really explain. I know, like, a lot of people tend to like what they're good at, but that just didn't really happen for me. It might be because it wasn't enough of a challenge, but I don't know. I've been thinking about that a bit more, and like, if I did more challenging maths, still don't think it would be interesting to me. Whereas things like drama, I did drama in year 11. Um, and I was still really shy back then, like really badly shy. Um, but it was interesting, like acting theories, and I guess it was challenging as well. And yeah, I enjoyed that more than maths, even though I was terrible at it. But interestingly, drama is the first class where I think any teachers realized I might be good at writing. Because yeah, I did really well in the review assignment, to the point that my drama teacher wanted me to do writing reviews as like my major project, if I did it in year 12. Um, I ended up dropping that subject because I knew I was just not going to do well in it. Um, but yeah, no, that was interesting because at the time I was doing really badly in English. Um, but English in high school, at least back then, was really weird. It's like, yeah, interpret Shakespeare from a feminist, Marxist, postmodern perspective. I'm like, none of that stuff existed. I'm pretty sure that's not what Shakespeare meant. And then also making us, I know I go on about this all the time, this topic comes up, but making us watch Clueless for the HSC. Why would you do that? Jane Austen is not a good enough reason to make us watch Clueless. Like, why? Why would you do this to me? Where was I going with all this? I don't even know. Shit, man, I can't remember what I was talking about. I actually finished my tea before, before showing up for this, so yay me. No, I don't know, like, now me, I just feel like this sort of blob, and I guess I'm worried that if I don't do something, it'll be very easy to get depressed. Any plans to visit Japan again? Oh, I mean, like, when are we going to be allowed out of the country? But no, my like COVID or no COVID, my plan has been to go back to Japan in 2024 because got some family stuff to deal with then. If I can, uh, assuming we can go, I'm sure we'll have things sorted by then. But yeah, no, the whole slow vaccination rollout, I've seen concerns that the rest of the world will open up before we get a chance to. Maybe a side effect of being a little too successful, keeping things under control. But I'm in no rush to go anywhere. I wouldn't be going to the Olympics in Japan this year. I think it's a little bit crazy that they're still going ahead with that, but whatevs. My opinion is not that important. Um, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, 2024, I'm planning to go back to Japan. And mum, I'll be going with mum. Huh? 2024 in 200 years. You're confusing me now. What's it now? It's 2021. What's wrong with 2024 in 3 years? Huh? Now you're making me think that I'm crazy. Oh, I watched on Netflix this movie called Run. That one was a bit of a thing. It I read the reviews beforehand and they're like, yeah, it's heaps predictable. And it is heaps predictable. And it wasn't really quite what I was expecting because when you watch the trailer, it makes you think that like she's going crazy or like she's not sure if she's going crazy because of some drugs or if like shit's actually happening, but that's not actually how the movie plays out. Like it's mentioned that there were drugs involved, but they don't really play that big psychological role I was expecting. But apart from that, like everything's, you know where this is going, but it's one of those ones where it's more like you sit there going like, how are they going to do this though? How are you going to get out of this situation? um yeah, and there was some stuff about, I shouldn't say anything in case you guys watch it because I don't want to spoil stuff, so I won't. But yeah. I was trying to be funny. I was trying. Okay, well, I mean, you already got me with the getting my life together since 2008 thing, so you know. um Anyway, well, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, so I don't know if I'll live stream next week. Like, if I'm still feeling like meh about it, I probably won't. So, hey guys, make the most of it. There's only a couple of you online right now, so enjoy. And anyone watching in the replay, well, they just have to put up with it, right? Um, yeah, no, I want to try and like just get a bit healthier and also maybe try and relax more and try and get into a bit more fiction stuff. I think I've had just too much of the real world. I've sort of thought like maybe I'll play a video game. Although now because like I can capture that stuff, I'm sort of like, oh, if I play a video game, maybe I should capture it and like upload it for you guys, and then that kind of changes the experience a bit. It's too much to think about. But the other thing, no, I've got to do the punk rave videos, so that'll keep me occupied. And then at some point I want to do like more music stuff, and I just haven't had a chance. I mean, yes, it's been school holidays and things have been noisy around here. With like Easter and all that. But yeah, I feel like I just need to focus more and I want to do more of like my creative life. Like, I guess YouTube, I'm kind of creating, but with live streams, it's just me like rambling. It's not creative in the same way. Don't watch the news. We always watch the news around here. We have dinner together. Apparently, that's not something a lot of families do, but we have dinner together and the news happens to be on. And so we usually watch the end of the Channel 7 news and then it automatically switches to the ABC just as the weather comes on. And we're like, damn, now we have to watch until the weather again, even though we can look it up on the internet these days. But yeah, I don't know. It's only like half an hour, the ABC News. Sometimes I skip it though. But yeah, no, I watched too much news last year because it was sort of like when everything was locking down, it was like, oh yeah, what's happening this time? The drama of it, the drama, and I shouldn't do that because I will wreck my shoulder again. Bloody hell. Also, I guess there's been a lot of stuff on my mind that I haven't felt like, I'm ready to just talk about. So then, I'm like avoiding topics in live streams, which I think is proof that I've changed because I used to just talk about whatever, right? It was like, have a thought, make a video, which was one of my terrors in getting a smartphone because I thought if I have constant internet access, I'll just be like posting every thought. But no, I've managed to stay on prepaid, so I'm conservative about my data and I'm not tempted to just update every thought as I go about my day. Oh dear, oh dear. Although like I'm home a lot, So there are some days on Facebook where it's just like every few hours I post something, and sometimes I know I'm being a little bit too much, so I'll wait for it to tick over until it says like I posted an hour ago, and then put the next thing up instead of keeping it like 30 minutes later. Never got any Facebook in the endless discussions and such. It depends on how you use stuff. So Facebook, I tend to just use as like a personal diary, a little bit like how I started YouTube. And I kind of don't give a shit who responds to things. Sometimes it's just to help me remember stuff. But then like sometimes people react to stuff, and I don't know, it's a way for me to be social as someone who's not very social. I know a lot of people don't like social media, but I really was very shy. Way back, and I'm still not a very social person. So for me, social media, maybe I'm one of the few people who benefits from it. I don't know, although it is turning into a bit of a time suck. But if I didn't have that, I'd just be like how I was in high school, I guess, like not really doing anything, not really going out, very in my head, probably. Yeah, so it's a way to just get stuff out. It becomes a crutch. Yeah, well, I haven't got a good enough Nando's coupon, have I? So I don't need to share my chips with anyone. But the other thing is, because my family are all like in the house, like we socialize together. It's not like living on your own where you kind of have to go out to be social. And we're kind of like not a heap social family. I think it's partly because like, growing up with Mikey, it can make things a little bit awkward. Most or a lot of families who have disabled kids don't actually stick together. So we're a bit unusual in that sense, but I think maybe it's made us a little bit closer than some other families. In coupons. Well, no, see, there's Nando's coupons, which I get from being one of their Perry Perks members. And sometimes they're like, hey, this month you can get a free big chips, and I can never finish a big chips, but I want my big chips. So that's when I'll like grab someone and be like, let's get Nando's, help me finish my chips. And then there's the Dine and Discover coupons, and that's a different thing. And trying to work out. Did you see that movie I posted on my Facebook last night? I might spend one of my coupons on that, but I don't think Mum will go with me to that movie. What was it called? The Unholy. And so I think it looks like it's probably going to be a little bit of that horror genre. So I don't think Mum will come with me to that. And so then I'm like, well, $25 isn't enough for like that's too much for a ticket. I could get 2 tickets, but then I have to go with someone. Or can I get one of those vouchers? I was trying to find out. Actually, they never got back to me. I was trying to use Twitter to find out whether or not, like, the only way you can get to some companies these days is through Twitter. And so I was trying to find out if you can get like those vouchers with the Discover coupons, so that I can just like see 2 movies on different days. But I don't know if it's going to work that way. So I may have to be social to get the most of my coupon if I want to see that movie. So that's a dilemma. Because I think I've had a little bit much socializing lately. Yeah, like I went to Chatswood with Mum, and we found a new place to eat. And then the next day I was visiting a friend and had a terrible time on public transport with this bus driver who just dropped me off in the middle of nowhere because he fucked up. And I sent in a complaint. I know I'm getting old because I send in complaints to everything now. I've sent now 2 complaints to Sydney Trains. And actually another one that was a follow-up because they wanted more information. And I also sent in a complaint to the ABC because for the Fukushima anniversary, they they mentioned the tsunami and the earthquake, but they introduced the story as like the deadly nuclear disaster. And so I wrote in being like, excuse me, the thing that killed them was the earthquake and the tsunami. The nuclear thing was not deadly, blah, blah, blah. And so they ended up posting a correction. And then I had a family member who reads The Australian, because my family are on the conservative side, so they would read The Australian. And The Australian, I think it's The Australian anyway, when I Googled the headline, they were having a gloat about how the ABC admit they breached their standards or something like that. And my family member, my relative, sent me a message. Was this you? And I was like, yes, that was me causing chaos for the ABC. But anyway, isn't your older brother active, social, out and about? I'm the oldest. Excuse me, I'm the oldest here. Everyone thinks I'm young, but I'm not. I'm so old. But so I've got two brothers. The youngest, Mike, is disabled, and then the middle child, Dave. Well, he makes some interesting jokes, but I don't think that's enough to qualify as messed up. He's probably the most, the best adjusted of us three kids, because, I mean, look at me. Oh, dear, oh, dear. He does sport and stuff, and he socializes probably more than the rest of us. But as far as social butterflies go, I'd probably nominate Dad, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. We have I think we're all a little bit odd in this family in our own ways. Oh dear. No. What else was I talking about? Having to socialize because I want to see a movie and also make the most of a coupon. I mean, I could just go see the movie by myself, but then I'd be wasting half a coupon. Or they have a deal where you can also get popcorn, but I don't think I could eat a whole popcorn myself, so then I still have to drag someone along. Or I could get one of those fancy tickets. They've got the regular cinema, and then they've got the luxury cinema. But I'm not that excited about this movie. And the thing is, in Chatswood, at the Westfield, all the cinemas, even the smallest cinema, has those big comfy recliner chairs. So why do you need the luxury cinema anymore? Because all that happens is someone walks around bringing people alcohol and food, and it's distracting. I did it once, and we had food, and it's just this isn't the cinematic experience I want. Just leave me alone. I'm just going to sit on a chair. Leave me the fuck alone. I was basically like that. Hey, ABC, you guys fucked up. And I milked everything I could. I was as a person, as a person with a Japanese background or something, I found it disrespectful to I milked the language of the sort of ABC complaints department, whatever, and they're like, we didn't mean offense, and I'm like, let me watch the movie in peace. Yeah, I don't need people running around clinking glasses and and so it wasn't really the experience for me. I fun to try once, but I'll just stick to the regular cinema. Especially at Chatswood, because there was another time I don't know how long Chatswood has had that, but in the city, they've got event cinemas, and at the last time I went, it cost more to go to a movie there compared to one at the Hoyts in Chatswood. But they just had regular old school seats, and I'm like, why am I paying extra just because it's in the city? I'm not doing that again, am I? Not until we've confirmed that everything is a fancy seat. And then I don't know why I'd go there anyway, because it's kind of an annoying spot. And no, Chatswood's where all the food that I like is. Although, after the pandemic, the udon place closed. They were closing before it even happened, but then the guys who were taking over seemed to have folded, and I don't know. I suspect some of the chefs had to go back to Japan, because everything was closing down, and so that was sad. But we found new places to eat there, so in that sort of area. Event cinemas are only good if you remember. Oh, well, fuck that. I don't watch enough movies, do I? I still haven't even watched my Alien box set and whatever else. Oh, it's too expensive, yeah. No, I'm more of a Hoyts girl. I think the city was just convenient to meet people from like certain areas because it's very central, whereas Chatswood isn't. Monty Python's Flying Circus. I haven't really watched much of the Flying Circus stuff. I watched, I think, The Life of Brian and The Holy Grail. I think I've watched a bit of The Meaning of Life, but it kind of just, yeah, I wasn't as into that. And it's got some stuff that's just gross rather than funny. Yeah. Mum doesn't understand Monty Python. I think the Japanese sense of humor doesn't quite match with the Aussie sense of humor. Or like, whatever, British. I think Aussies can enjoy a bit more humor from a few more places. But yeah, no, as a Japanese person, she didn't get it. It's nose. Yeah, anyway, so I'm trying to get my life together. Maybe live stream a little less. And like, if one of the things about live stream is I think it makes me lazy because I know that I'm going to have some content up and I never feel that, gee, maybe I should make a proper video kind of vibe. There's no guarantee I'd make more videos, although I will be making punk rave, but there's no guarantee I'd make more of the other videos, if I take some time off. But I don't know, we'll see. Record that new EP. I haven't even written a new EP. What are you talking about? There's that whole, what's the name of the song? The Truth, which I didn't finish recording, because that's when I realized I could go low with my growls and started playing around with that a bit more. So I need to record that at some point. I'm also not sure if maybe I want to get a different mic. Maybe I'll write some more music. It's just like, it's hard to get inspired. Yeah, well. Yeah, no, I just haven't had a whole lot of inspiration for a lot of stuff. And I think before I can really get creative again, I probably do need to do that relaxing, get a bit more interested in fiction, and just having an imagination instead of being stuck in the real world. Asian people don't get irony humor. I know one joke that works in Japanese, but I guess you guys would have to be bilingual to get it. Yeah, or at least know some basic Japanese. So maybe I'll keep that one to myself for the moment. But yeah, no, I think I need to relax and get my imagination working again. And then maybe I'll be inspired to be more creative. I don't know, like, when I was younger, I really felt like I had a lot of stuff I needed to express, and so I was constantly trying to find ways to express it. But now I'm sort of just like, I don't know, probably empty in a way that I didn't used to be empty. Like, I've felt emptiness in the past, but this is like different. Maybe not even quite numb. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, no, I can't think of a way to explain. But it's just like, is this just getting old? Like, not having energy. Like, the annoying thing is, even when I go to bed early, like, sometimes Dave stays up later than me, and then he just wakes up and he's energetic the next day, and I'm like, well, I'm really broken then if he can manage that, because I still end up sleeping in for ages. Dear, yeah. But so I think I do need to try harder to get my life together, like not in a dramatic way, but like at least get back to maybe the energy I had before my last depression, bring some of that back. I don't know. And just like feeling like doing creative stuff, because like I didn't paint anything last year, I don't think. I might have played with some like texture type stuff. I don't even remember. But yeah, not really done much music. To really know language, you have to be able to be funny in it. Well, see, I know a Japanese joke though. I don't know how to tell it in Japanese except for the relevant part, but I don't know. And like my Japanese skills really dropped off because like I've got nothing to work towards anymore. Like when I was going for the trip, I studied a lot, and it did help me learn. But now I don't have like I need goals to help me do stuff, I think. And like that's one of the good things about going to uni is like there's a goal that's outside myself. And I guess because there's like money involved, even though I'm not actually paying anything, it's like going on my debt record with the government. Um, and then just it's like an academic situation, which is how I used to operate in school. Like you're at school, you have to do the thing. That's just like that was what my life was. And so going to uni, they have deadlines, and so I do stuff. Whereas now, like I could set myself a deadline. You guys could set me a deadline, but I'd be like, just move that. You can't make me do shit. Yeah, so it's tricky. Like, so the punk rave videos, that is like someone externally is relying on me. They've given me stuff. I need to get that done. My brain works like that. So those videos will get done. But as for everything else that I talk about, yeah, it's a bit slower. And then some of the music stuff takes a while to sort out. Like, yeah, I still know at some point I'll do a Taylor Swift thing for you guys, but I don't know when that's going to happen. I think I do need to get a bit more energy, get a bit more inspired. And then, you know, I've got to sit down and figure out exactly how I'm going to do it. You speak Nihongo. No, I speak like tourist Japanese. I don't help you not meet the deadline. Just hurry up and write a story about a snail. Maybe I'll write a song about a snail. No, I've got so many song ideas. I'm better at coming up with ideas than I am at realizing them. And I know conceptual art is a thing and you can just come up with ideas and make up some bullshit, but yeah, that was my brain glazing over. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the art world. But I don't know, sometimes making stuff is fun, but I think I'm just struggling to experience fun at the moment. And then also there's the inertia. So like once I start singing, I'm like, oh yeah, I like singing. Singing's fun. Yes, I'm doing my finance work, but no, it's fun. And I play with my voice a little bit. I don't do any false chord while I'm sitting around singing casually because I feel like that needs a bit more focus. And then when you're sitting, like, you know, the air is a bit different. But I do like practice my fry screams while I'm just sitting around doing that. Half the time the ideas are more fun. Yeah, true. Yeah, no, I've been practicing the fry screaming. I don't think it's gotten any better. But I've been playing more with like operatic sounds, like my more classical voice, and I think like it's sort of helping me figure out what I want in a band. And then increasingly convincing me that I'm not going to find it because I think what I want in a band, I want something that makes use of my voice. And the things that I want to use the most are a false chord and some of that more classical sound. But I don't want it to be death metal, black metal, like the kinds of stuff that you usually expect, that vocal combo. I probably want something. I mean, I don't listen to a whole lot of metalcore, but they have that clean scream combo, except they use the opposite, you know, more like chest voice cleans, whereas I'm looking for head voice cleans, and they do mostly fry screaming, whereas I'm false chord. So like metalcore, but opposite vocals. Or you know, just because like metalcore has some of that chugging. New metal I thought I wanted, but like when I listen to the vocals, I'm actually getting bored of some of that stuff, like the more chest voice vocals, because I think people who sing more like classical head voice, they tend to be more melodic, and so it's more fun because it goes higher and it goes lower and it goes like whatever. Whereas with people who are more chest voice oriented, it seems to be more about the rhythm and it tends to stay in this particular range. And I'm just finding it a little bit boring, like singing along to Disturbed. It's all in the same sort of, and I'm like, And if I'm not putting in that extra drive, it's just very lazy to sing and I get bored. I don't have a Nintendo Switch, and I haven't really played any console games in a long time. Um, I haven't played any games in a long time. Probably Final Fantasy is the last one I had a crack at, and you saw how that turned out. Um, yeah. With Nintendo, I had a DS Lite, was probably the most recent one I had. I think we've got a Wii still. I think Mum got that. Mikey was into the bowling game. Um, but yeah, no, the Nintendo DS Lite was probably the last one I had, and I didn't like the look of the first Pokemon game that was on 3DS. So I didn't bother, and also like the 3D thing seemed like such a gimmick to me. So I was just like, I'm not into this. I don't need that feature. Why would you bother? Minecraft, never played it. I don't even really know. Like I've seen the block kind of figure things, but I don't actually know anything about Minecraft or how it works or what you're supposed to do. Um, yeah, I'm pretty vague about gaming. It's just not my thing. Um, like like Pokemon was fun at some point, but these days I don't think I could play it. Especially like it's gotten more complex and convoluted instead of just having that fun part of the game. Now you've got to think about too much stuff. Um, yeah. Oh no, and they also got rid of poison damage while walking. So like kids these days won't know the terror of having one Pokemon left. It's got 4 HP left. It's got poison condition, and you're 5 steps away from being able to heal it at the Pokemon Center. My mom is the worst thing. She's addicted to that. Spend 8 hours a day. I don't know. Would I really get addicted? Because, like, what's the last game I even got addicted to? I think when I was depressed, playing, what is it? Stardew Valley with heavy metal playing in the background while I was, like, crying. That stopped me crying after a while because they're like, life's terrible. I'm farming my chickens, and then heavy metal, and at some point a song comes on that you're like, no, and you end up singing along, and then you're like, okay, I guess I don't feel so depressed. I'll live for another day. That was one of my coping mechanisms while I was depressed. Yeah. At the moment, I just feel very bleh, though. Like that. Like, what am I doing with myself? What am I doing with my life? I'm sure if I concentrated, I could think of some ideas, but they must not be that urgent if I can't think of them right now. Maybe it's just the headspace I'm in. Maybe I'm just tired and slightly injured still. I don't know. And it's frustrating when I have like these different moods because like I do feel like moods affect how easily I remember certain things. And like this is documented with depression, right? When you're depressed, you're more likely to remember negative things. And so when I'm in different moods, I do feel like it's easier to remember certain things than others. And it's frustrating because, when I think of my sense of self, the main thing that I can think of is like, well, everything I've been through informs who I am. So my memories are kind of what make me, but then my memories aren't even reliable. So how can I count on that? And if I'm in a different mood and have different memories, am I still the same person? That kind of stuff fucks me up a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. And then like, I just, yeah, it's that weird empty feeling that's different to the empty feeling I had in the past. Like maybe in the past feeling empty, I might try and fill it with something, but I guess I'm at that point where I'm just a little bit old and jaded and I'm like, nothing's gonna fill that. But it also feels like a different kind of emptiness, and I wish I could explain what that means, but yeah, I don't know. I think I've just got a serious case of inertia. A Switch for cheap, fluffy Nintendo games too. Yeah. Mario and Zelda. I played I had Seasons and Ages on my old Game Boy. I was a bit sad when they switched to DS because I liked that Game Boy format. But no, we have to have touchscreens and everything, don't we? Um, yeah, and the whole dual screen experience. Uh, yeah, no, those were fun games. But other than that, I didn't really play much Zelda at all. What else? Yeah, I don't know. I think I just feel uninspired, unmotivated, uncreative. My brain, it's not what it used to be. Like, yeah, okay, I was very unstable and very crazy and so on in the past, but at least I was doing more stuff and trying things and being creative. And yeah, now I kind of just feel like a shell. Um, yeah, maybe more aware of how my body is just slowly decaying as I age. I mean, people sometimes think I'm heaps young, but I'm really not. I'm so old. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm like, what have I done with my life? I've been depressed a lot. That's what I've done with my life. And I've become a little bit good at a lot of stuff, like a turtle shell. Maybe like a cicada shell, where like you can see the outline of where it was, but there's nothing in it. You carry on like you're 90. Oh my god. Hopefully I don't sound as senile as that. Oh no, speaking of 90-year-olds, the Queen seems to be doing reasonably well. I didn't realize she was over 90. If you don't get an e-scooter, I will. You have my permission to get yourself an e-scooter. I don't even know what type of scooter you're talking about, but you can go and get one because I'm not going to. And that goes for anyone else watching and anyone watching the replay. If you want to get an e-scooter, you have my personal permission to go and get an e-scooter for whatever that's worth. Oh dear. Oh, I got a $30 gift card thingy for Amazon because I did some YouTube surveys and I have no idea what to spend it on. Apparently I already had an Amazon account and I don't remember opening it. I don't remember ever buying anything on it. But yeah, so now I've got $30 to spend on something. If anyone has some suggestions, although does that cover postage? Probably not. I did check for bear costumes. They don't have the one that I want. And the place that does have that bear costume, they still haven't got it in my size. So no bear costume for me, except for this one. Yeah. This is a real good look. Anyway, yeah, no, how do I fix my life? And also, how do I get fit in a not boring way that isn't expensive and that doesn't make me like, well, I don't like being sweaty, but if it's distracting enough, I won't notice that I'm sweaty. I don't know. Yeah, I got no ideas. I think you can use one of those Discover vouchers at Taronga Zoo at the Wild Ropes. So maybe one day I'll go do that. But like, that's not a sustainable thing. I couldn't go there all the time and cost more than a bloody gym membership, wouldn't it? Yeah, they must not have fixed it though, because when I checked last time, they didn't have the 4-course one anymore. So they must have the fourth one that fell over in the wind. They must not have repaired that. The scooter I'm looking at, 9bot Max G30D. Let me copy that and have a Google and see what it is that you were intending to purchase. Oh, one of those. Okay. Yeah, righto. Where's that one as well? Is that where they have it? No, it's a ropes course. And go to Google Wild Ropes Taronga Zoo. That'll distract you from the fact you're exercising. No, you actually go over the Australian animals section. Assuming everything's the same since I last went, which is probably a couple of years ago, because COVID was last year, so I wouldn't have gone last year. Yeah, no, so it's just like, like a ropes obstacle course kind of thing. like you would have done maybe if you did like school camps and stuff. They often do those. Yeah, I don't know what ropes you're thinking of, but it's not that. It's yeah, ropes course, obstacle course. There's some fun stuff on there. More proof of me being dead inside is that, like, I'm sure I would have been scared of heights in the past, but I kind of just like, yeah, it's a thing. Although it was harder the last time I went compared to before. Oh, actually, the last time I would have done the ropes course would have been when Sakura was here. So that would have been early 2020 before everything went crazy. She was lucky to be able to come here then. She timed it really well. It was pouring with rain, so she didn't get much beach weather, but yeah, we got to do that kind of stuff. Um, but it was harder, I remember. Like my body is just slowly decaying and I need to do something about it. Like I'm at that point where I can feel it and I need to do more. So maybe I need to come up with some kind of an exercise routine I can do in the other room. Maybe I could choreograph something. And what no, so like I'm trying to think of goals, like what are some reasons to get fit? And the three that I can think of, I mean, obviously just to be healthier. Also, like if when I find a band, get on stage, I guess I could do that solo because like you need a lot of energy to hold the stage yourself. So yeah, that's a reason to get fit. And then also at the Hello Scream auditions, there's always a lot of running, and so I want to get better at that. And with the Hello Scream auditions in mind, some of the exercises I did yesterday were sort of like about jumping out at people, kind of trying to work that into some kind of an exercise routine. So, and then I was thinking, yeah, maybe I could choreograph something. So, you know, maybe one day I'll do you guys an exercise dance if I can get that going. But no, and then I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should do a dance class, but there's nothing near me. And like adult dance classes. There's one time mum and I did a belly dancing class, and it's just like full of local mothers, and they're just chatting the whole time. And you're like, are we here to dance or just socialize? Like, come on. And then, sometimes when those classes, like, because they're not taking it seriously, there's a lot of people who can't dance there and they slow everything down. And then, like, I tried dance classes at the gym, and the problem with that is it's the same thing every week because they don't have like a consistent group. So they're not working towards anything. And so the only fun dance stuff, like in the sort of genre and maybe skill level that I'd be looking at, I think is in the city. And it's in this awkward part of the city that I can't just catch one bus to. I have to like walk. Walk because I want to do dance to exercise, but I don't want to walk. But going around that, no, it's not Zumba. More like hip hop type stuff. Like I'm not a huge fan of the music, but the beat and all that is the kind of movement. Although like I wouldn't mind doing tap dancing as long as it's not like syllabus tap dancing. In high school, one of the tap dancing things I did, like the lady was into hip hop, so she kind of combined hip hop and tap dancing, and that was fun. But yeah, standard tap dancing would probably give me the shits after a while. But the rhythms are fun. I can still do some stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I'm looking for something very specific with that. But at least hip hop is. I wouldn't dress goth to hip hop dance, because like goth clothes aren't practical for that. So I just wear like I've actually got dance pants, those purple ones that I sometimes wear. I just wear them and, sort of bra top thing, and there you go. But yeah, no, the only one that I know of that sounded good is in the city. And yeah, probably at this point, my skill level will have dropped because it's been so long. Ideally I'd just do the kids classes again, but I'm too old now, and I look young but not that young. So yeah, no, I'll just have to make up my own little dance shit and try and choreograph something that gets me exercising. Maybe that's what will work, Because like I have my routine for stretching at night, but I think it's got to be a dance thing if it's going to get my heart rate up. And martial arts. Well, I have a black belt in Taekwondo. Like, you know, I got that in school, so a bit rusty. Haven't done a flying side kick in a long time. Don't know how well that'd work out. Yeah, and I also did a little bit of karate, but yeah. And also, like, my code for Taekwondo, I think they're not around anymore. I think the other code might have taken over. It's like all the patterns I used to know, there's no point remembering them, which is good because I've forgotten them, but there's no point remembering them because as far as I know, my code isn't really a thing. Yeah, but I think also my body type is better suited to dance. I'm just too small for martial arts. You know, good to know some stuff. And so, like, sometimes, like, Mikey can be a bit rough. He doesn't mean to be, but he can be a bit rough and he can try and grab you. And I just sort of like instinctively, and that was not good for my shoulder. The other hand, you know, just block when he's trying to grab me. And so, you know, good for that, dealing with my disabled brother. Sometimes he's just a little bit too enthusiastic. And, you know, like, there was a point where he just got a little bit too strong. And I was like, no, I'm just going to avoid. There you go. Yeah, that and growling at him. And he's sort of like, oh, okay, grumpy sister is on the case. Anyway, yeah, no, so dance. But I'm probably going to have to just do my own sort of dance thing and work in my exercises to a beat or... Yeah, but then I have to find a song to do it to, don't I? That could be interesting because, like, heavy metal is not really well suited to what I've got in mind, that sort of exercise dance. Brush up your martial arts then. Well, I still do kick stretches because, like, I think when I was depressed, I got hip pain. And so that's why I started stretching. And the thing that really helped was the kick stretches. So yeah, I haven't really had hip pain from sitting around all day since I started doing that. So I just do that all the time. And then I also do punches, although at the moment I haven't really been doing punches just because my shoulder is, you know, so I'll do like slow punches. But usually I do like but yeah, I haven't been practicing like proper kicks, just kick stretches, which is probably what my body needs. You know, like, what damage am I going to do? If I get into a fight, my best option is to just run away, really, because, like, the size of me. Technique is one thing, but it only gets you so far. Whereas with dance is pretty much all technique. I mean, there's some things you need strength to be able to do, but the basics is technique. Probably my body doesn't move as well as it used to, but I can pick up those things still fairly quickly. It's just a matter of remembering everything. Yeah. How much water is in here? Not much. Yeah, no, so I don't know if I'll live stream next week. I guess maybe I could go back to just, like, live streaming randomly. So you'll never know, and I might just be talking to myself half the time. But, you know, if I actually feel inspired and enthusiastic, maybe that's better than me scheduling all the time when sometimes I'm just like, yeah, no, I just want to veg out. Energize me, yeah. Yeah, I need more energy and I need to sleep earlier, but it's so hard sometimes to wind down. But maybe that's why I need to watch more movies. So, like, you know, have dinner, chuck on a movie, go to bed. That's what I used to do, isn't it? I used to be able to binge watch stuff as well instead of taking 6 months to watch Buffy Angel. Yeah. I don't know. There's just, like, I used to read as well. And now, I mean, okay, mistake I keep making is buying nonfiction books or, like, half fiction. Like, so the last thing I was reading was the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And I'm like, really interesting. But it's not really like a riveting story or anything. And I don't even remember where I got up to. I don't even remember what it was about. So, like, I probably need to read fiction again. There are some books that I used to read. Maybe that one. Is that Earthsea? Yeah, I used to read Earthsea a lot. That spine is actually really tattered. Oh my god. So maybe I could read some of the old stuff I used to like, and maybe that'll get me into the headspace of like, past me. Um, but also I need to probably at some point read something new. It's been a while. Can't even remember the last fiction book I read. Uh, it might have been one of the Old Man's War. Oh no, it might have been that other book he wrote that was heaps PC and just gave me the shits. Book of the Dead. Oh no, it's just like it's the when they mummify like pharaohs in Egypt, and then there's like all these prayers to get you into the underworld. So like it's not really a story, it's like how to get into the underworld and the things you need to do and the things you need to say. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It's in a fancy hardcover. It looks nice, but just not inspired to read it. I think it's gonna be tricky to get into a reading habit again. But I used to like behind all this, there's my Animorphs collection. I have the whole thing. I used to be able to read one of those books in an hour, and they used to come out every month. And so, like, I'd buy it and be done in an hour and then just have to wait another month for the next one. Whereas these days, like, just sitting down to make myself read, yeah, no, it doesn't really happen. Although it doesn't help that sometimes, like, I've asked people for book recommendations and someone recommended Wicked. Is that the one about that witch from The Wizard of Oz? And I had specifically said I don't want anything that has relationships and, by extension, anything about sex. And then it's just full of that kind of crap. And I'm like, well, fuck you. And that person was also constantly inviting me to poly events. And I'm like, I'm not into this. Please stop inviting me. And they kept inviting me. So I was like, yeah, we'll just flick you off the friends list. Don't like, why should I give a shit about your stuff if you don't have any respect for mine? Like, just get lost. Not in the underworld. Not really the thing that keeps me awake at night. I think I used to be more interested in ancient Egyptian stuff because of like this convoluted thing. So I spend a lot of time thinking like, what's the point of life? And if I'm just going to die anyway, what does it matter? But with the Egyptian thing, the idea is like, yeah, you die, but as long as something remains of your existence, like you kind of continue to exist. So that's why they put their names in a cartouche and, preserve a lot of stuff in stone and do the whole mummification thing. Because if you can preserve that, you still kind of exist in a way. And like it kind of works because we know the pharaohs. We don't know your average Joe who couldn't afford that. Maybe there's the occasional person who ends up being remembered by some fluke, but really, it's the people who like left stuff behind. And so, that was an interesting thing for me, an interesting way to look at it. Like, I don't really believe in the spiritual stuff, but in terms of leaving pieces of you behind. And as someone who doesn't plan to have kids ever, I'm not going to have any genetic legacy. So the only legacy I have is like my ideas and I guess the crap I leave on the internet for as long as the internet happens to exist, which, if we all destroy ourselves, it won't be that long. But hey, that used to help me a bit. But, ultimately everything decays anyway. So does it really matter? And then now I'm just sort of like, do I care about leaving stuff behind? Not really. I'm struggling to care about stuff. Maybe that's all part of this lack of enthusiasm, for live streaming, for making stuff, I really unmotivated. And I guess I worry that like I could get depressed again if I don't try and do something. So let's try and, sort out I couldn't care less about legacy. Yeah. Well, see, that was me trying to find like some justification for things I was doing, filling that sort of existential hole. And I worked for a bit, but now I'm just like, kind of don't give a crap. Yeah. So, but yeah, no. So trying not to get depressed. Like I feel fine. Just sort of like there. Um, But yeah, no, I can see a danger that if I don't do something, I could end up depressed. So if I work on my health, I mean, they do say that health is sort of linked to mood, and uh, given that my depression tends to be biological, I probably should focus on my health a little bit more and get myself a bit more energy if I can manage it. I know I've been trying since 2008 to fix myself, but if I can get some of my energy back, maybe that'll help, and maybe I won't have to go through depression again, because I've been free of depression for 3 years. That's a long run. I get nervous the longer I don't be depressed, the more I start thinking it's going to happen at some point. So yeah, I want to avoid that, because the last one was so bad. I don't know if I would survive another one, if I'm being completely honest, especially knowing like what my brain has gotten over. If I get depressed again, it's going to have some really bad shit in it, like for me to actually get that bad again. So yeah, I don't want to be depressed again, because it's just like I don't think it's going to go well. Um, so yeah, I just trying to fix what I can about my life to hopefully not end up there. I mean, I think my brain has maybe changed enough that maybe I won't get depressed again, but yeah, I just feel like I need to do something. And so, I don't know that live streaming is helping, because I do have that sort of like, oh, that obligation feeling, or like that feeling of it being a chore. Maybe that's what I'm getting at. And I need to just find some more inspiration somehow. And maybe it is the lack of energy that's messing me up for inspiration. So that's what I've got to work on, I think. Things were not this hard when we were kids, hey. What will happen first? Fixing your life or learning to play the drums in the back? I've had the drums almost as long as I've had YouTube, hey. Well, also I need to fix the hi-hat pedal is a bit sticky, and it's because it's made out of, like, the mechanism is made out of rubber, and so over time it's stiffened and like it doesn't work anymore. So if I want to play drums at some point, I'll have to buy the updated hi-hat pedal, which I was going to show my drummer friend if I ever got it, but I just haven't got around to it, because these things are expensive, right? It's more expensive than just a replacement for the old one. But the old one, if I get the same model, it'll just have the same problem in a few years, whereas the other one doesn't look like it's going to have that. So yeah, I need to get a new hi-hat pedal. I suppose if I tried drumming though, like, it's a bit more physical, maybe it would help with some of the fitness. But yeah, I don't really have any good motivation to learn drums again. Like, I can kind of play, but if I'm going to be working on music, I'd rather work on my vocals. Um, yeah, and I don't have that whole body coordination, I don't think. Um, yeah, it's just annoying I can't find a band, because like I guess I was sort of pinning my hopes on finding a band in terms of like getting everything going, because like then I'm making music, I'm going places, I'm jumping around. It sort of solves the main things for me, like exercise and socializing and going out. Like being in a band does that all for me. Having things to work towards, I tend to maybe take on too much responsibility, but like I'd be doing stuff, and hopefully I'd do better at finding, like, choosing a band or band members who are on board with the thing, so that I don't have to do so much by myself. Maybe someone knows social media better than me, maybe they could handle that. I would also try and find a band. Well, the main thing I would find is people who can write the kind of music I like, because that is one big stressful thing. Like, if I'm trying to write all the music all the time, might as well be solo, right? Um, but yeah, I just can't find a band. There's like you see the same people around all the time. And so like there's this one band who wouldn't let me audition because I'm a chick and they want a dude. And they've been looking even longer than me. And I'm like, oh my God, how picky are you? They're so picky that I think they've lost their drummer. So like they found a second guitarist, but now the drummer, I think, has dropped out, judging by their ads. So like, are they ever going to get on their feet? I don't know. Maybe we're all being too picky. Um, But yeah, and then there's this dude who keeps popping up. He's a vocalist. He keeps popping up in one of the band search groups. And I'm surprised that he hasn't found a band, because like he has more of that stereotypical sound. So like, is it his personality? Is it his level of commitment? Is that why he's not finding a band? I'm curious about that, because like I've seen him get messages and people say great things about his voice, but somehow he just can't find a band. It's very odd. Although he does put auto-tune on some of his clean singing, and I was just like, and it was really obvious, like Cher levels of Why Michael Jackson the drummer playing the Smooth Criminal beat and then just keep the drum set as a nice decoration? Oh dear. It is a nice decoration. It takes up a lot of space though, and when I think about rearranging my room, I'm like, oh, maybe I should get rid of them. But yeah, I don't know. I think like the problem is, if I start getting rid of stuff, especially something that big, my room would probably end up empty. I'd get carried away, because like if I'm willing to let go of that, I might as well let go of everything. And especially like all this stuff, well, most of this stuff is what past me collected. I'm not past me anymore. I don't know why I have this stuff, but if I get rid of it, what's left? I don't know. And I don't think I'm ready to visualize my emptiness. You know, like I'd rather look at past me than have my room look like what I am now. Just dust it off. Yeah, I do dust it every now and then. It's probably all I do with it, really, and put stuff on the chair. Stuff and things. I don't know how much more I have to say, especially just sort of being tired, and I don't know. What time is it? 9:15. Do I have time to watch something? Probably not. I'll probably get too tired. I'm already tired. I should just go to bed, really. And, you know, work on waking up earlier. Because, like, the world is different when you get up in the morning as opposed to the middle of the day. And there's certain things that are easier to do in the morning. And then I can spend more time, like, watering the plants, I guess. I really should spend more time with bonsai. Like, it gets me outside. Like, my bonsai, not just work bonsai. And some of them do need some work. But, yeah, it gets you outside and in the sun a bit. I guess with winter coming up, I don't think I have that sort of seasonal affective disorder kind of thing. But winter does bring like some laziness, I guess, and maybe that's partly why like now I'm thinking, gee, I don't want to get depressed, because like for a while I did think winter corresponded with some of my depressive episodes. That ended up not being the case, but there are things about winter that I guess make it harder, you know, even if you don't have that disorder. So yeah, no, and I just feel like I need to do a bit more with my life somehow. Getting outside is good, yeah. And like I've also thought, gee, maybe I should socialize some more, but I do get exhausted by socializing still. That hasn't really changed. And you know, going out 2 days in a row was a bit much for me. That might be partly why I'm a bit low energy at the moment. But also that fucking bus driver. Because like there was track work. I didn't know there was going to be track work. So then I had to catch a bus, like, you know, a train replacement bus. And the first half of that was fine. Like it was going to take an hour, but it was fine. And then he just goes wildly off course. And we're almost at the second last stop before the one I need. But he decides, like, you know, some passengers are like, where the hell are we? And so he decides to double back to the 2 stops he missed. And so I'm talking to my friend and I'm like, we're going back to this stop. And she said, oh, I'll pick you up because like it's going to take forever to get here. And I'm hungry, and I was hungry as well. So then like we arranged to meet at the stop he's going to drop us off at. Like, you know, we arranged to meet at the bus stop, the train station that he missed, like the first one he missed. And there was another one, but he went past it and he was going to go back to the first one that he missed. And then at some point, like, there's this roundabout, and he's like, "Oh, anyone going to that station, this is where you get off." Um, and then so I followed two other passengers off, and we were in the middle of nowhere. There was a Macca's. There was no metro station that I was meant to be at. It was just like, where the fuck am I? So I look on Google Maps, and the station that I'm meant to meet my friend at is still a 20-minute walk away. And I'm just like, what? I want to use like a strong swear word, but it's maybe a little bit strong for YouTube, so I won't. But it starts with a C. I'm just like, bloody hell, where have you left me? So, then I had to try and, go to the Macca's and try and find a street sign and tell my friend where I'm at. But I'm just like, he dropped me halfway between the two different stops. So, like, I couldn't even see any other public transport around. It's just in the middle of nowhere. It's lucky I had someone coming for me, because that's not my area. I've never been there before. I don't know where I am. Oh, and so, yeah, that's one of the things I've complained to Sydney Trains about. I was just like, "This is a train replacement bus driver. Just drop me off in the middle of nowhere." It's so irresponsible. It's lucky I'm not like some kid like I look like. Also, interestingly, on that bus ride, like, we were on there for an hour, and he's driving in circles. But then this kid comes up to me, like, he's with his friends, but he comes up to me and asks for my Snapchat. And I'm like, I'm not giving you my Snapchat. You can look me up on YouTube. He didn't ask me for my YouTube, but I'm not giving you my Snapchat. I'm just like, this kid, I'm probably old enough to be his mum, and he's asking for my Snapchat. And I'm like, for one thing, I'm too old for Snapchat. I mean, I still use it occasionally, but yeah, no, I'm not giving you my Snapchat. Bloody hell. I don't know. Kids are weird, man. I'm so old. The kids and their Snapchat and their TikToks, and where's my walking stick so I can shake it at a cloud? Dear, oh dear. Yeah, anyway, so the weekend was tiring for me. Not just from like going out and socializing, but from bloody public transport being a dick. So, yeah. Oh. But yeah, no, so point being, socializing and also going places. E-scooter. I have a driver's license, but with a car, you just brush by everything. With scooter, I would be in the middle of it all. That's my thinking. Yeah, I don't know. I've got nowhere to go, though. Okay, so maybe I go see that movie. I guess get something to eat. Would be better if mum wanted to go, because, like, I can hang out with mum. But yeah, I mean, like, my friend who I would normally see, she's studying at the moment. So, would she be? I think maybe she would see that movie with me. But yeah, no, she's studying, and it's pretty full on. So I'm just like, well, that's my main link to the real world outside the family. And then yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's like people on Facebook I could probably harass, but I don't have the energy. And yeah, I'm getting tired just thinking about socializing, especially like, when I'm not familiar with people, it's harder. And I'm not familiar with anyone. Like, I know I can talk to the camera, but it's different to actually being in a room with a person and being like, yeah, so. Oh, I don't know. I guess I should maybe try to be more social, but I don't have the energy. It's very draining. I mean, maybe would I get better at socializing if I had more practice? But like, I can socialize when I need to. And that's fine. Like, I can have a random conversation with a stranger if I need to. But in terms of like intentionally hanging out with someone, but what do I do with the rest of my voucher, right? Or do I just save my voucher for something else and just see the movie just because it's a thing to do? I don't know. I don't know. Trying to work out my social life. But see, that's the good thing about being in a band, because you're working with the people in the band, and then you go to a gig, and then you talk to people at the gig. but also there's music. So if you get tired of talking to someone, you just go and rock out. And, that's how I like to socialize, rather than like, just hanging out. I don't know. It has more of a purpose, right? And even not being in a band, I guess I could go to a gig. And that's what I would have done in the past. But I don't know which bands I want to see. And then because of COVID, like you have to book a lot of places. And then some of the venues I used to go to aren't really a thing. And so they're all like paid. There's no free entry. And then, sometimes there's a band that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember them. I guess I'm not really in the mood for it, but I could go see them and just show my support. And then I look at how much the ticket costs and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm too stingy for that. Oh dear. I mean, like the dumb thing though is that I actually have more money than before. Um, but yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not spending that just to go to a gig where I'm not sure if I even want to see any of these bands. And I'm not going to have a good time in any other way because I don't like socializing much. What else do you do? I don't drink alcohol, so I can't just numb the shit out of it. Yeah, I don't know. Why do I go to a gig just to like look whatever? I'd probably only stay for one band, and I'm not spending that amount of money for one local band. It's just not where I'm at. I'm not that into it. I'll save my money for Nando's. Hey. Anyway. Talking to Dave. Oh, yeah, we chat sometimes. We're both not heaps social, I guess, but he's more social than me. I guess because he plays sport. And so, like, sport by default, like, especially like team sport, or even like if it's not team sport, if you're playing against someone, like you're socializing, right? So I guess that's his equivalent of like the way I see bands, maybe. I mean, I don't know exactly how he thinks. He thinks quite differently to me. He's much better adjusted than me, but that's how I conceptualize it in my head. Is like he's got the sport. That's how he socializes. And then I had the music, but I don't now. And the place that I used to do all my solo stuff, as far as I know, they haven't really restarted that. So, and I haven't really practiced any of my material, and I don't really want to do all the asexuality material anyway, because I just don't really want to be in that discussion. Although sometimes I listen to it and I'm like, oh, it's actually not that bad. Maybe I could brush up on it. But no, I want to do more stuff that I like, more music that I actually care about, maybe. But then I have to write it, and oh my god. I don't mind writing vocals, but trying to write the music part of it is always a bit much. Hey! Good morning. It's 9:30 p.m. here. I was actually just thinking of wrapping it up and going to bed, but isn't today beautiful? Well, it was a bit warmer here in Sydney. The weather's been up and down, so we had some really cold days. And then today it warmed up, and it's actually colder in the house than outside. Tomorrow will be a warm day, and then it'll go back to being cold again and rainy. Sleep well. Yeah, well, I mean, if you have anything in particular you want to ask me before I go, because this might be my last live stream for a while, because I'm just not feeling it at the moment. I want to try and get my life together. Yeah, I probably need to get away from the computer a bit, especially with my shoulder not doing so well. Because when I'm like doing stuff, I don't think it's that I'm hunching. I think it's that movement and like doing stuff with it. What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of life? I mean, I could just say 42, but Dave's better adjusted than you. What does that even mean? Well, he's a functioning member of society. So, like, he has a job. He has a full-time job, whereas I don't. I've got 2 casual jobs, and then I do other bits and pieces here and there. Get out, do stuff, be among others. 42 is right. Yeah. No, yeah. So, I'm not feeling the live streams at the moment. Like, it's fun talking, I guess, once we get there, although today I'm a bit subdued. You can probably hear, like, the vocal fry came into my voice, like, really early. Being alone for too long is pretty bad. I'm not really that alone, though, because, like, my family live here. I live with my family. I've got dogs, and we all get along, and we chat to each other. And then on Facebook socializing works for me. I get a bit tired if I'm, out with people, and that's probably why I'm a bit off, because, yeah, too much excitement over the weekend. Yeah, so the meaning of your life. Yeah, well, it depends how you want to look at it. Hey, like, meaning is a very human concept. The universe doesn't give a crap about the meaning we place on things. So, yeah, like, you just make up your own meaning, I guess. But yeah, so this live stream has mostly just been me, like, being introspective and trying to work out what I'm even doing. I want to try and get some of my shit together, try and exercise a bit more, try and get inspired again. I don't know. And yeah, just with live streams, feeling a bit like a chore, like when I sit down to, like, yeah, once it gets going, it's not too bad. It's just like, scheduling it, and then, feeling like, oh, I'd rather go watch a movie, but I said I was going to do it, so here I am. Yeah, and I think I do need to just kind of relax and give myself permission to do nothing a bit more often. Because, like, I'm doing nothing anyway. I'm achieving nothing a lot of the time. So if I'm just going to be sitting around, zoning out on Facebook, or, just staring at the computer doing nothing, which occasionally happens. If I'm just going to waste time doing that anyway, I might as well just go and watch a movie. In nature, there in times of waning. Well, I guess the nature in my life is bonsai and all the plants I've got out there, which, like, they need a lot of work. Oh, okay. Brooks is a funny one, because I don't know that we'd really talk about brooks in Australia so much. Purpose and meaning exist, so well, I think humans naturally search for meaning because our brains are that complex, and we're trying to analyze situations initially as a survival thing, but then, it's just gotten to that point where we start thinking, gee, what's the meaning of life? It's like just a side effect of, we need our rest. We need rest to recharge before we do big things. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I've been pretty run down because, I got sick, and, stuff going on in life, and, yeah, a bit too much socializing maybe. Um, So, yeah, I might not live stream for a bit. We'll see. Or maybe if I do live stream, it'll just be like a random thing that none of you are ready for. Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, no. And I also, like, with YouTube stuff, maybe I should make more proper videos instead of just, like, rambling. Day for yourself is anything hell yourself. Searching for a meaning, putting yourself into a picture. Yeah. I mean, because, like, if you consider for evolution purposes, you're trying to figure out why something happened so that you can either use it to your advantage or avoid it if it's dangerous. And, why did things happen? You sort of end up, by extension, thinking, why did things exist in the first place? I think that's, like, our brains just sort of naturally went to that weird space, even though it's not really useful to our lives. It's a side effect of something that was useful to our survival in the past. Maybe. A lot of stuff's like that. Humans are weird. Everything's weird, really. But weird's subjective, so yeah, let's just go in a brain circle. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and get my life together and make sure I don't end up depressed again. I need to get more sleep. Like, I do feel tired, and I do think I need to get more sleep. Did you notice I changed my sheets? So now we're back to the pink elephants one instead of the dog one. Yeah, that took me a while to change, didn't it? Quote, whole books about mindfulness. Mindfulness didn't really work for me. Like, every now and then psychologists have suggested it to me, but they haven't been able to explain it in a way that made sense to me. Like, yeah, okay, I'm being mindful of what's now, but that hasn't solved any of the problems I have. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I do try, like, breathing exercises and stuff, but yeah, it's not really something that's quite worked for me. Or maybe it hasn't been explained to me well enough. I don't know. Yeah, I think in terms of, like, calming me down when I've had those really bad moments of depression, it was more the video game, the Stardew Valley heavy metal combo that helped me those times. Everyone likes to. Okay. When I read in the end, everybody, and then it goes on to the next line, my brain went, in the end, everybody dies. But no, you say work's different. This is the mindfulness stuff. Doesn't work for me. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's funny how things become fashions, in those sort of self-help kinds of ways. And like, I'm sure it helps some people, but not everyone. I think with those things, we tend to forget that people are different. And so things that work for you don't necessarily work for everyone else. And I know that I'm a nutcase, I'm a weirdo, so a lot of the stuff that should work doesn't. Anyway. So I think I've just about run out of puff. If no one has anything like really urgent to ask me, keeping in mind that this might be the last live stream for a while, and I'll just try and make videos. So Punk Rave Australia videos coming back. Got 4 of them to make. Woo! So there's 4 of them definitely coming. And then try and do more music videos. And then there's some stuff like I maybe want to talk about, but not in that sort of like word vomit distracted kind of way. Like maybe more of like sit down and think about what am I actually gonna say. I'll probably still ramble, but might be a bit more like a structured video. So like I can just get to a point without having my brain wander and trying to address whatever's happening in the live chat. So yeah, maybe I want to do a bit more of that. I mean, like live streams, they're good for some things and have their place, but I do feel like, I want to put a bit more of that sort of structured content on my channel. Because sometimes I can get some of my thoughts out on a live stream, but there's some stuff that I feel needs to be done differently for me to really make sure I get what I need to get out, make sure it actually does get out. So that's the thing. I don't know. And I'm just sort of reassessing my life in a lot of ways and sort of figuring out or trying to figure out what I need to do next. We'll see how that goes. Maybe next week I'll be in a completely different mood and we'll live stream anyway. But yeah, things move on. Yeah, I just don't know what I'm doing with myself. And time change. Yeah, and also the things I was thinking this morning. By the time I got home and got settled, I'm like, yeah, no, I actually don't care about that thing. So the indecisiveness and my brain just changing its mind. I'm like, okay. Breaking the wall. It makes me think of that song. Teacher, leave those kids alone. Anyway, yeah, so that's where I'm at. So at this point, assume that there won't be a live stream next week. Unless my mood really changes, but I think I'm going to be I'm going to end up busy with punk rave stuff for the next while. And I want to try and do a bit more music because I think singing does cheer me up. Sometimes it's hard to just get into that vibe to do some singing, but I think it does help. Can you still imagine something that could be fun for you, or are you totally out of it? I'm struggling, but I know the other day I was feeling a bit off and I was singing. And that helped me feel good. And especially playing more with my classical sort of operatic-ish voice. There's some fun stuff there. So I think that does make me feel better. There's more reasons to want to be in a band because, it does help me feel things I wouldn't feel otherwise. But yeah, otherwise I'm just pretty out of it, pretty dead. I can remember things that would be fun, but I don't know if I went and did them now that I would find them fun. And then, there's been all this sort of crap on my mind that I'm still sorting through. Some of it I've mentioned on Facebook, so some of my Facebook friends might know some of the stuff, but then there's other stuff that I just haven't said anywhere and just sort of processing quietly myself in my head. And if I figure out some of this stuff, maybe I will make videos or talk about it, but I'm not ready. I guess I take longer to think about stuff compared to in the past. Yeah, so I think that's all I've got for you tonight. My Mickey Mouse and my Ninja Turtles. What have we got there? So I'm sorry I'm not heaps enthusiastic, but just where I'm at the moment. And I've got a lot of thinking to do, a lot of figuring out to do, and a lot of like relaxing and just being a vegetable. Ah, yeah, and sort of maybe disconnecting a bit. Like there's some stuff I have to use the computer for, like my work from home job. So I can't avoid the temptation completely. But maybe scale back on some of my online stuff. Don't worry about videos. Well, I am making the punk rave video because that's tied into my duty reflex. Like they've sent me the stuff, I've got to make the video. So that's already programmed in. I will be doing that. And then the music stuff. But as for like other talking videos, like more natural talking videos, we'll see what happens. Have a good time somehow. Yeah, well, I'm hoping like, if I can relax and can get a bit healthier, maybe I will feel better. And get more stuff. Yeah, I know I meant good. That's okay. Yeah, no, I just sort of need to reset a little bit. And I don't know. There was like a friend from one of my classmates from high school contacted me after seeing one of my Facebook posts, and I gather she's not really into social media, but she was wanting to meet up, and I haven't seen her in like a decade. So maybe we'll hang out. I mean, like she knows me from when I was properly shy, like before YouTube and all that, like when I was proper shy. So yeah, it could be fun to catch up, but I haven't heard anything back. I think she saw my message, but I don't know, like people who aren't on social media a lot sort of use it differently. And so I don't know if that'll happen, or I don't know. I'm keeping that day open just in case, but yeah, I don't know. All right, that's all I've got for now, guys. So until the next time I see you, I mean, the next time I see you might be just punk rave, and so I'll be in that mode. I might change a few things up, but I'm still sort of deciding. For anyone who's on my Patreon, if you haven't already seen it, I've posted some preview stuff and some questions. So if you're interested in that, and yeah. Good time, you deserve it. Thank you. Sleep well. Thank you. Yeah, so whenever we next meet and whatever mode I'm in, stay safe out there, especially if you're overseas with, just all the crap that goes on in the world. And yeah, I'm off. We're done. If I can get my mouse going. the computer mouse, not this mouse. Anyway, yeah, let's try and be funny in the most awkward way.